Hi, Susan. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Good morning.
Good morning. Where is significance for you?
26.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Brandy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Hi, John.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Good. It's
Good.
Monday.
I know. Monday of April.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Hey, Brandy.
Hi, Brad. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Did you have a good weekend?
Had a great weekend. We went down to College Station for our granddaughter's 1-year birthday.
Fun.
Yeah. All kind of good stuff.
Yep. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Hi, Steve.
Hello.
Hi. I see Kevin. I see Ben. Anit.
Anitra joined our team recently.
Anitra.
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 Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining today. All right, let's get started. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about significance. And oh, I didn't highlight it here, but you can see that significance is found 6% of the time in a person's top 5 strengths. So that means that it is one of the most rare strengths that you'll ever come across in a person's top 5 strengths. When you have a strength that's super rare like this, the thing that we always have to take note of is that this person may feel misunderstood in at least this way, right? Because they might have some other really highly found strengths, but significance is really rare in itself. So sometimes people have rare strengths and they have a bunch of them, and then other times they have one rare strength or two versus, you know, having strengths that a lot of other people have. So we just have to be cognizant that, you know, maybe around these traits in their personality, they might feel misunderstood a little bit. You can see that this strength falls into the influencing Gallup leadership domain. And that means that they have natural influence. And the way that these guys have natural influence is that they seek to have high performance. And so when they are seeking out that high performance, you're naturally influencing others to also perform at a higher level around you. When we look at the strength zones, this one falls into the creative strength zone. And the reason for this is when someone wants to be significant, when they want to stand out, they're going to do things outside the box. They're going to be more creative in what they decide to do. So they are naturally more creative, and they're thinking naturally just more creative as people, and thinking about, you know, how to be more significant. So here's the traits. Anybody on the call actually have significance?
It's my number 6, but
Okay.
I know that nobody on our team has it in their top 5, which is why I joined.
Yes. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, Ben need to represent.
Yes.
As top 10.
Yeah, we have a team with like 33 people on it. I'm the only one that has. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the only one in the top 10, but I'm the only one in
Right.
the top.
I think pretty much he was, yeah.
I think maybe, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just pull mine up to see what it is.
Yeah. So Ben, are you feeling significant on your team? Because you're the only one.
Yeah, I think all the managers who are on this call with me that I work for can tell you that yes, I do a lot of significant things that other people on the team aren't doing. So yeah.
Yeah. And that is it, right? You have a drive within you to do significant things. You have an eye for what is significant and what isn't significant. And you don't want to be working on anything insignificant or unimportant or something that's not going to make the impact. What you're trying to do is stand out. You're trying to make sure the perception is strong. You are, trying to help the team get credit for the things that they're doing. And you want to be seen as different and interesting and significant. And you want to be seen as making that significant impact and having exceptional performance within the team. So these are some of the things that significant people really thrive on. They love to be admired, which means when they're on a team, they want the team to be admired, for example. They want to hear all the good things that they're doing. It affirms that what they're doing is sort of right by others or right by society, and is the things that people are finding valuable or most meaningful in that moment. Okay. Any questions about anything on this list of how it's defined? All right, so when significance is paired with achiever, it's obviously going to be more intense. Okay, achievers overachieve, significance need to make a significant impact. So if you're an achieving significant person, you're intense. I believe that when it's paired with belief, it's also going to be heightened. I think almost anything paired with significance is going to be heightened, but I think there's specific ones. This one I was a little bit on the fence about, but I was thinking of Tony Robbins. He seems to have significance, but he also seems to have belief, which is a little counterintuitive. But because he just feels so strongly about helping people who need to be helped, but also has a need to, to help them be significant and himself to be significant, I'm thinking maybe that's an interesting, strong pair that, when together intensifies one another. And then command is like, you can think of it this way: you're commanding significance and you have significant command, and command already has presence and influence, and significance also has influence and cares about how things are seen. And so I think those two paired together are going to intensify one another quite a bit. Communication for sure, right? If significance loves to be heard and seen, and communication loves to be heard, then a communicating significant person is going to be significantly communicating and influencing. Obviously, if significant, it wants to make a high impact and be a high performer, then if they also have competition who loves to win, then they're going to be an extremely high performer. Significance typically intensifies everything around it. So does focus. So if you have both focus and significance, you're going to be extremely intense. Brad, this is one that Connie has. She has focus and significance. And so she's all about setting goals and achieving goals. And for the rest of you on the call, Connie is someone who's also a coach. So she's a performance coach with her significance and focus. She helps people brand themselves well. She loves working with entrepreneurs, small businesses, to help them make themselves known, but to also stay focused on the goals that they need to achieve. And then, if you have significant and futuristic paired together, you're really creative. You're thinking about how things are looking. You're painting the pictures. There's a lot of visuals. you want to stand out and be significant, and there's just a ton of creativity in someone who has significant and futuristic as a strength. Anybody have any of these pairings?
I have achiever, which is my number one.
Right. So you're achieving significant things. You're significantly achieving. It's very, very intense. What's interesting, Ben, is they're both introverted. I should say significance is probably like half and half. It's internally motivated, but it loves the praise or the verbal recognition, right? Externally, the applause, the crowd. Where achievers fully introverted. So when you put them together, it's actually more introverted than extroverted, but still extremely intense. Okay, let's look at some more here. So ideation is also highly creative. So pairing it with significance, you coming up with significant ideas, ideating about what's significant. Super creative person again. Significance loves praise and recognition and acknowledgement, so they also give it, and so do positivity people. So when you have someone that's positively significant and significantly positive, they're going to be extremely positive, extremely they're going to lead recognition programs, acknowledgement programs, making sure that people are recognized. That would be a rare pairing, by the way. Significance and positivity, you're not going to see that, but maybe 1% of the time. If you have someone with significant restorative, the fact that they need to be on the most impactful, highly visible projects, but they need to be on the ones that are solving the hardest problems, the most complex problems, that's going to be an intense person. Woo, who is very social, seeks to win others over. Significance, want to be acknowledged, recognized. And so, a significant woo or a wooing significance is going to be strong as well. And then both self-assurance and significance are highly independent people. So they're, putting that person in the same body, significant and self-assurance is going to be a very, very independent, autonomous influencer. Anybody have these?
So I don't have any of these in my top 5, but I was looking at my broader list, and I have focus as number 8 and restorative as number 9.
Yeah.
And I do have positivity as number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right about the rare pairing. Positivity is number 33 for me.
And yeah, because I'm looking at my what is the significance, and it's way down the line for me also. Well, not way down the line, but 26. Yeah, so way down the line.
I've got self-assurance as number 8, but significance is down to number 16.
So is it safe to say that if significance is in your top 10, positivity would be in your bottom 10, and they're invertedly related like that?
They are, but let's look really quick. Okay, let's go to significance and positivity. Let's just look. Nobody.
So you have a unicorn, leprechaun riding a unicorn over a rainbow if you have those.
Yeah. Significantly positive is rare. Let's see if there's somebody with top 7. Yep, we've got a couple of top 7.
Cool.
Uh-huh. Right.
Brandy, question.
Yeah.
This tool that you're using, is
Yeah.
this available to the general public? And
Yes, sir.
if so, is there a training course?
I don't have a training course, but I'd be happy to walk you through it. This is available. If any of you guys want to use this is the Strengthology Insight site. And you just come over here to strengthology.co and register. And once you get logged in, then there's all kinds of different insights for yourself. The tool that I just showed was the back end, right? Getting the statistics. I don't have that available for the public, but I do have available your executive summary for your strengths, your different visuals, the definitions of your strengths, talks about, whether you're introverted or extroverted, your personal brand, how those combinations come together for you, how you can best lead using your strengths. That's all on this tool.
Okay, yes, I definitely.
Your login image made me significantly positive.
Yeah, the water.
Yes, right this moment.
Yeah, I know that was the goal.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so you can see that significance and developer, and this is how I knew positivity was low, because positivity and developer are really close together. And you're the most rare combination you could get is a significant developer. I actually think we have one though. Let's look. Let's see here.
It's not me. It's 30 for me.
Developer is number
Developer.
4 for me, so it must go hand in hand with positivity.
Oh no, maybe top 7 because I know someone. Oh no, I'm wrong. She must not have significance. Okay. Yeah, so there you go. Significance developer, it's not even top 7. Let's see if anybody even has top 10. Okay, few people have top 10. Okay, but very, very, very rare to have that. Okay, let's see. View, present slideshow. What you are going to see significance paired with all the time in a person's top 5 strengths is achiever. So obviously significance is focused on high performance, so are achievers, so that makes sense. Okay, so that being said, significant may not do their best work with consistency, developer, deliberative, or includers. And most of this is because significant is highly autonomous. They're highly independent. They're not necessarily wanting to collaborate unless they have like another collaborative strength within them. So consistency wants everyone to have the fair, equal opportunity and chance and everything to be the same. And significance want to stand out. So they're just like, ugh, right? I don't want to be the same as everyone. Same with like includer. Includers want everyone to be involved and included, and significance want to stand out. Developer.
I'm sorry, Ben, I have 2 of those traits, those disruptive traits.
Yeah.
So I will be actively working to make sure that.
Well, here's what's very interesting is deliberative is my number 4.
There you go. Yeah.
So significance is 6, but deliberative is 4 for me. So
I have includer and developer. So you're at war with yourself somewhat, huh?
I guess.
Let's check that. Let's check deliberative. Let's check significant, deliberative, and top 5s. Okay, so just a couple. Yeah, just a couple of those. Okay. Sorry, let's go back here. Okay, so the reason being is because developers are very nurturing, hand-holding. I think significant may kind of like some of that because significant likes growth. But I think that if they were too nurtured, handheld, they'd feel stifled. And I think they would feel like it's not enough, right? So it'd be like, just be kind of like, thanks for the help, but I got to go be significant. And then deliberative is, very private. They don't necessarily want to be seen or public. So how does that work for you, Ben? If you've got deliberative and significance, like when do you like to be seen and when do you like to be private?
I don't know how to answer this question. I would say I want to be seen when I'm doing things that are different, like things that are like outside the scope of my day-to-day. But if I'm just excelling a lot in my day-to-day, role, I don't necessarily care either way. If somebody provides me with a lot of positive reinforcement or feedback, I don't know if maybe that helps answer the question.
It does. Deliberative don't need feedback. They don't need that positive reinforcement. They don't care necessarily about that.
If I could add on from what I've seen of you, Ben, while the project is like being piloted, you don't want any recognition then, but once it's off the ground, causing it or doing what it should be, do what it was intended, then maybe.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't need recognition throughout the process, but once it's
Yes.
done, once
And
it's
doing what
landed,
it's supposed to be doing as it always does.
yeah, that I would agree with that, because otherwise I don't want the
Because there are
recognition.
things that that are popped up that I didn't even know that you were a part of until we rolled them out.
Yeah, I don't want it to. I want it to be done. I don't want it to be a work in progress, so to speak. I want
But
it to
yeah,
pretty
that
much be
I've
landed.
witnessed, and I can
And that's
attest
the
to that.
achiever. That's the achiever number one, right? It's just, let's just get it done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that trumps everything. Yeah. Okay. So significance will work well with other achievers, overachievers, with high performers like competition, with people that are really focused and trying to achieve goals like focus. They work great with individualization because individualization is trying really hard to help people be at their best, and significance want to be at their best. They also love working with maximizers because maximizers want to help them, maximize their talents, which is exactly what significance is looking to do for themselves or for their teams. And then also, if you do have significant positivity, then, again, you're going to be really strong with, the positivity is going to be giving the praise, and the significance is going to be soaking it up. And so it's going to be a symbiotic relationship. Okay, so obviously where they're not going to be at their best is when there's nothing important going on, the stakes aren't high, there's no stress, it's not visible, it's not seen. There's no attention on it, they're not getting praised or applauded, it's doesn't matter, right? I mean, something that they've been asked to do that just doesn't really matter is not going to be okay with them. They're just going to run the complete opposite direction from that and go find something important to be a part of. Where they are going to be great is where it's important, it's high stakes, it's highly visible. I did a search on my database this morning to look at all my significant peoples in there, and I would say 85% of them are executives. They gravitate towards higher positions that have a lot of pressure, that require a lot of performance, that are highly seen and visible, which is what you get when you climb up that ladder. So little tidbit, I guess, not all of them, but and I had several business owners, small business owners in there too, that had significance as a top 5 strength. Okay, what do the significants love to hear? They love to hear anything that's wonderful about them, right? Anything that they've done well. They don't want you to lie to them, okay? But they want you to say what you see. If you see something awesome, they want to hear it. They want to know that what they're doing is along the right path, that it's having the impact, that it is significant, that it matters, that it's meaningful. So they really, really appreciate the recognition, either written down or in front of a crowd, or just to them. And they're, of course, they're all going to be a bit different depending on their other strengths. They do have to look at that, but for the most part, they're going to enjoy praise, recognition, applause, and that they are performing well, and that their performance is outstanding. Exceptional, but more importantly, for the fact that it's having the impact that it's supposed to be having.
You're making me self-conscious. I'm reading all this and I'm feeling like, man, I must be some kind of crazy narcissist.
But see, I want you all to think about that. I'm so glad you said that, because what if 31% of our population had significance as a top 5 strength? We wouldn't think this was abnormal. We wouldn't think anything of it. We would expect people to want these things, or to be this way. What I think has happened, Ben, a lot of time, is that people who do have these traits and do succeed when all eyes are on them are ostracized because they're rare. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I think I've been relatively fortunate. I don't think I've had people do that to me, but I can see that happening.
And think about like, but what's funny too is then at the same time as a society, we covet them because these are your Olympians, right? They're the ones that are, the whole world is watching and they break their record and they break all records. Well, the whole world is watching. I don't know about you guys, but if I were to be put in that situation, I think I'd crumble up, right? It's like the whole world watching, I'd be incredibly self-conscious and just be like, yeah, please don't. I'll go do this thing, but don't watch me do it. But the significance people actually step up their game and actually perform better when the whole world is watching. They're going to disengage when they hear all these negative things, right? You're such a performer. You're too independent. You can be confrontational. You seem to be afraid to fail. You always need to be seen or heard. You always need to be so significant. Why do you always need to stand out? Why do you need so much approval? You know, all the things. So these are the things you're going to hear when you are not in the right environment for your strength, to be flexing your significant strength. When
But
it's not
thankfully,
appreciated. Mhm.
we're on the same team, Ben, and with context being my number one, I can explain to everyone else who does not understand where you're coming from, exactly where you're coming from and how you got there.
I appreciate that because I can't honestly say that I feel like I run into any of these things on this team.
That's what I'm saying. But if by chance we were, that's my job, is to explain it to everyone else and then show them your importance to the team and your significance to the team.
Yeah, and to also show why that those traits are important to the team because no one else is going to do it, right? You could ask the team, you could say, who wants to be on the highest stressful, most pressure, highly visible project? And you're going to see maybe one or two hands go up, right? Who wants that kind of exposure? Where Ben is like, yeah, why don't you guys want to do that?
So Ben's going to be the only hand that goes up, and then he's going to have to select his team.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's significance isn't the only one that performs well under that kind of pressure. Restorative does too, and Ben has both. And achievers, they want to overachieve, and they want those types of opportunities. So you get other people raising their hands, but significance almost always raise their hand like that. To them, it's a no-brainer, and they can't even comprehend why anyone else wouldn't want to do that. Okay, so they do like to be recognized. I put verbally up here as a note for myself, not for verbally, but they like to be recognized verbally, okay, when you talk to them. But they like to be recognized for standing out, being known, their unique strengths, all the impact they're making, their exceptional performance. They value that people think highly of them and say, oh, we know we can go to Ben because he has exceptional performance and he always gets things done and he always, has a huge impact. Like just that feeling of being known that way is very, very satisfying and gratifying to them. And they will go to the work to be recognized. They will put in the work to get their credentials, get their education, get the qualifications, learn the stuff they need to. It's very similar to competition. Competition will do anything to win. Well, significance will do anything to be significant that they need to do to be significant or to help the team be significant. Okay, so when they communicate, they may perform. And again, Ben, these aren't all going to apply to you. It's number 6, you said, for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have 5 other ones ahead of this that may just completely trump over a lot of this. So some of these points are going to be true for you, but not all. But if we had someone in here that had significance as number 1, all of these would be true for them. I'm trying to see if there's anything important to point out here. Okay. So when we're speaking to significance, we just need to affirm them. We need to admire their work. We need to provide our approval and our feedback. We need to, notice what they've done and the impact that they've made and how they've done that, and talk to them about those things. We need to ask them, what else do you want to do? I guess when you're just communicating it, I always jump right into like how to be a collaborative team member, coach, manager, but this is just communication. So communication is just giving them the space to talk about the things that they've accomplished, and discussing the things that they're interested in, which is going to be performance related, credential related, impactful people, impactful work, those types of things. They're not going to want to talk about lighthearted, like positivity is just lighthearted and joyful and just more surface level, just to keep it light. And significance is like, no, we need to talk about what actually matters here. Okay, so these are just some questions that you can ask somebody that has significance to just start the conversations and get the communication flowing. These should be things they enjoy talking about. And if you have significance, you are already going to be highly influential, again, because you're already, trying to reach high levels of performance, which naturally influences people around you. But you can also encourage others to make that significant impact, stand out to catch people's attention. That's automatic influence. You can show how your products and services are differentiated. Like you said, Ben, like they stand out, they're different, they're creative, they're, unusual. And you can discuss how the products or services will help someone else stand out, or how they're going to be seen or noticed or perceived better.
So Brandy,
Mm-hmm.
so just out of curiosity, like the slide before with all the questions,
Mm-hmm.
are those in the Strengthology Insight?
Not
Well-
yet.
Ah, okay. But they might be in the future?
They will be in August.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Just checking.
Yes. Yep. Okay. If we're trying to sell an influence to a significant person, obviously we're going to want to help them understand why this product or service is going to help them be seen, noticed, how it's going to increase the brand, how it's going to help performance, or how the products and services are going to allow them to make a greater impact than they're already making. How is it going to increase the reputation or the popularity or the scale? How does your products or services make us more credible or accredited, et cetera, et cetera. If you are interviewing, these are just a couple of bullet points that you can maybe take a few of these into your interview with you. Obviously sharing your successes and and what you've been able to achieve, and your high performance and the impacts you've been able to make. Those are all going to be important. You're probably going to want to share your qualifications, and just talking about how you've gotten teams to come together to achieve crucial objectives would be another one. You can talk about your natural influence. Okay. When we're trying to figure out, are we dealing someone with significance here in front of us? We're engaging with somebody for the first time, we're not sure, but we notice that they dress nice, or they have purple hair, or they have tattoos all over them, or they just seem to want to be seen. And we say, okay, and so how do you perform when pressure's on? Maybe we test them with an interesting question and they'd rise to the challenge. We say, interesting. these are the types of things that we're looking at and noticing to go, okay, I just want to understand if you are significant, because if you are, then I know how to talk to you. I know how to communicate to you. I know what's important to you, which, all of these words down below are words that you're listening for in conversation. If they're using these words, then you're highly likely dealing with a significant person, and someone who needs to be significant, or they'll disengage. And then on the contrary, these are the words that you want to use. So once you realize this is who you're dealing with, and these are the types of words that you want to use when you're communicating and talking with them to engage their brain. Okay, so if you have significance, you'll want to consider writing your strengths down to refer to them frequently. And this is really just for those times when you're not getting enough feedback and recognition. You got to sit there and remind yourself of all the wonderful things you bring to the table. I just spoke to someone this morning who is in an environment that is not giving her the feedback and the acknowledgement and the praise that she needs. And she's just feeling so badly about herself and her performance when she's just in the wrong environment. And we're trying to get her into a better environment to feed her strengths. And so, we just had a pep talk this morning because she's going into an interview and has to feel differently in that interview than how she's actually feeling in the job that she's in. And so, just her saying, okay, I need a pep talk, that's her getting what she needs in order to get the job done and do what she needs to do. So it's important. What I'm trying to say is it's important to put things in place that feed you the way you need fed so that you can stay up. Because you are focused on the important contributions you're making, you could miss significant contributions others are making. And I think it's important to realize that if other people are being successful around you, you are also going to be successful. So it's important to recognize them and help them be significant. And in doing so, your whole team will be significant. You may feel vulnerable when you feel like someone has disrespected you or disregarded your contributions. When this happens, again, just keep the successes in mind and remind yourself of all the impacts you have made and what you've brought to the table and how that's been a good thing. Because you thrive in the spotlight and with an audience, others may see you as a performer without substance. So go get the substance, go learn the skills you need to, go get the qualifications, bring the smarts along with the performance. You may get demotivated when no one is watching, so ensure you select work where all eyes are on you and everyone is watching your exceptional performance with intensity. Since you are at your best when seen and heard, avoid hidden roles. Consider listing out and sharing your goals, achievements, and qualifications with others so that you have some accountability and they expect you to reach those goals. That'll motivate you. Since you rely on external approval for motivation, put external motivation in place where there is none. If you fear failure, use this force to focus you. You may be naturally confrontational when challenged, so try not to take challenges personally, but rather seek to understand why someone is saying what they're saying, how they're feeling, and approaching you in such a way. Okay, if you are significant and you need to collaborate well with others, there's lots of things that you can do and bring to the table for teams. You can ask to, volunteer to say, I'll take on those stressful projects, the highly visible ones, the ones that other people do not want to be a part of, the ones that have a lot of pressure. You can represent the team and evangelize the team. You can help the team understand how they're perceived externally and how to improve that perception. And create that awareness because you have an eye for that. You can also help the team understand how to influence more effectively. You may have suggestions on what kind of credentials or designations or qualifications the team needs to have to be performing at their best. Obviously, you can provide recognition and appreciation to your teammates, and they will end up, doing the same back, which is motivating. Oh yeah, and you can network people. I mean, you guys want to, work with and be around, highly successful people. So then you can also introduce your teammates to those people as well and help them get networked. Obviously always asking for feedback from the people that are closest to you or your teammates is going to be valuable. Okay. And then if you're working with a significant person, so anybody working with Ben, again, you have to find what levels he's at on these things, because like you guys were saying, it's not that he just loves to be publicly praised all the time, but there's just certain moments that are important. If you can see some designations or credentials that he can get to make himself a stronger leader or make the team stronger, or just, professional development, then those suggestions are helpful. Letting them know what you admire about them and appreciate from them is helpful. Obviously giving them, the recognition and acknowledgement they need is helpful. Recommending that they lead, initiatives that are important and encouraging them to do that and helping them get connected with the right people in order to do that is great. They also like to be seen as highly professional. So, any instance where you think, oh, if you did this, you'd probably be seen as more professional. They want to know that. They want that kind of feedback. This is for anyone who has significance, who wants to understand how to partner well with people with other strengths. So for example, Chad has context. So if Ben was like, hey, I just need to understand what were the significant historical, pain points of what has happened here on this other team, Chad can come in and say, well, these were the significant things that happened, and Ben would say, oh, that's great. I needed to know that, so that's an example of how to partner with someone else to get what you need to understand, certain situations that were significant. Okay. Any questions or thoughts? I'll pause for a second. Any partnership questions, interaction questions? Significant questions?
Sounds like you did a great job, Brandy.
Just asking. Okay. So if you are significant and you're wanting to pursue great relationships, here's just a few things that I thought of that you could potentially add to a relationship. Obviously, you will enjoy as a couple hanging out with successful people. You may enjoy tackling some big achievement together where you have a goal and you guys are, doing something that you both believe is making a significant impact. Understanding how your partner feels important or significant is something that these people are pretty in tune to, and making sure that their partners feel important and significant is something that you can do. Finding out how you're seen through your partner's eyes, which is very important to you, especially if you're like a relator significance, right? Where you really care deeply about the people closest to you and what they think. Then it's going to be important for you to get that feedback. What is it that I do that contributes to your life in the most impactful way so that I can keep doing those things?
So question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Since you mentioned Connie's got significance and focus,
Yes.
and on mine, Achiever's number 2.
And you have maximizer, right?
And I maximizer. So anything that I see that could have high impact and high significance, I ought to consider pulling Connie into that concept.
Yeah, anything that's got the stakes pretty high and the pressure's on, where she can make a significant impact, that is something to pull her in on. Yeah.
Okay.
One of my slides has got an interesting bullet point that I thought of, and it's when you have a significant coach like Connie. One of my recommendations for them is to not necessarily coach anything but significant people, which is what you've seen Connie gravitate to, right? She leads workshops for executive women. And so that's a good, strong place for her, because she, as a coach, she's going to want to coach significant individuals under significant circumstances, which is that executive role. So yeah, that's exactly right. And then also, Brad, anytime you see her do something significant, or you see her business do something significant, to promote it or publicly share it is a big deal for her.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's more important to her than me.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Anything else you guys can think of that a significance person could do to benefit a relationship? What about if you're in a relationship with someone that has significance? This was good for me to go through. My father has significance. So there were a lot of things that I naturally learned to do growing up, and I didn't really necessarily know why, but it was because, you know, as someone close to him, I could see that's what he needed, right? I could see he needed, you know, compliments and praise and admiration. I could see that he needed his successes to be recognized. He also had competition. He has both. So it's very strong in him to want to celebrate the wins, to be, you know, he said, you know, like when he would play softball and we would be watching, and he has relator too, but when we were watching and he would look over in the stands and we're standing up clapping for him and cheering him on, it was just, you know, it filled him with what he needed to get up there and hit a home run, for example. And so, you know, when your partner has significance, it's, you know, getting them in those opportunities where they can perform. And then as they perform well, giving them the recognition for that performance, it just feeds them and drives them to perform more. And I remember, you know, as my dad raised us, because he was a single father raising the two kids, you know, just giving him the praise and recognition around what a good job he was doing and how he was impacting our lives by the decisions he had made. Because our life before he made the decision to do that was not necessarily going the right direction. And so when he made the decision to really step up, make some changes and raise us, it made a significant impact. And so to share that with him, what was interesting about that was to watch him do more of that, and to continue being significant, and to continue adding value, and to continue learning how to do things differently, so that he continued to be significant and successful, and to win. You know, that's the competition, to win in the long run. He also had strategic, so he did care about the big picture and in the long run as well. But yeah, so the points I wrote on here were really from my own experience of having someone close to me who had significance that seemed to really feed off of these types of things.
So being in a relationship with the significant truly makes you a significant other.
We got jokes. We got jokes. That was great. I might just have to use that one.
So I have a question about that, because
Yeah.
you said that, okay, so do you know this because your father also filled out, you know, this survey, or is that
Yeah.
something that you just, oh, you do? Okay. I just wanted
Yeah,
to know if there was a way like you could assess that about a person who hasn't completed this survey.
You once you really get to know the strengths, you know, and you spend time in them, you can spot strengths pretty easily, because people actually use the words too. So you've got them saying the words, And it was so funny when I talked to my dad, not about significance, but about the competition slides that we did a while back. He gave me all kinds of words to use. I was like, wow, you have tons of words. He's like, of course, because this is the way I think. And so when you're hearing the words, when you're seeing the behavior, when you're sensing things, you can ask certain questions. So this is a question I get all the time because people say, well, can I use this in an interview, right? Can I have someone take the assessment so I know what they are in an interview? And I'm like, Gallup does not promote hiring like that. And they have said they don't, you can't, they have said you can't use it that way, the assessment that way. So then that lends us to having to understand the strengths well enough to where we're asking the right questions to really see how someone is motivated, what makes them tick, you know. And you could, like, you can simply ask a question like, are you more motivated with people watching or when you're by yourself? And someone will say, oh God, I'm so motivated when people are watching. And you're going, you're okay. So now we know you're at least more significant, right? Than you are maybe deliberate something else. And so, you know, it's just asking those questions to really gauge. Like my brother and I right now are playing a guessing game because we're like, is his child significant? Is his child competitive? What is it? You know, because he's too little to take the assessment, but we're trying different things to really try to understand what makes him excited and engaged and happy and motivated so that we're helping guide him into the right things. Make sense?
Yeah. And for the record, everybody Brandy meets and knows has to take this assessment.
That's right. That's right. When I first got into this, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And with my consistency, I was like, everybody's getting this book for Christmas. I mean, I gave it to 25 people, you know, and then I started studying all of them because I got them to share their results with me. And then that's how I actually got into this, was just sharing it with my friends and family and being excited about understanding them and getting to know them and seeing how accurate it was. And my whole life changed. I was like, everybody needs to do this. And then I started doing it at work. And then I thought, well, I'll just run my own business. So yeah, this is why we're here today.
Gladly.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Did that help? I don't know how to
Yes.
say your name
Oh,
properly yet.
it's into
Anitra.
Anitra, yeah. Yeah, no, it did. I'm just curious as you're talking through all of this, you know, and I'm doing the same kind of running through my mind, like, do I know anybody like this? And that sort of thing. So yeah, it did. Thank you.
Yeah. So I wanted to give you guys a couple examples. I have this a little bit later on. I'll give them now. I want you guys to all think about this, and I'm going to let you answer first. Who in the public eye, because this is a public strength, right? Who in the public eye do you think has significance? Who do you think of that significantly stands out?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
All of the captains of industry.
Uh-huh.
Tiger Woods.
Okay. What about Lady Gaga? Right?
Not a fan, so
yeah, but she's significant. Everyone knows who she is. She stands out from a crowd.
She's ubiquitous at this point.
She's unique. What about Freddie Mercury?
Absolutely.
Had to have significance. Had to. I mean, he went against every grain, right? And was one of the, you know, he also had something that made him just good, like vocally, but his performances were amazing. What's the other thing? Elton John.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Elton John, right? You know, athletes, there's a lot of performers out there, but the ones that are like, who was the Olympic girl that had like the blue hair or the green hair? She had the long nails and she ran faster than everybody.
Oh, Flojo.
Flojo.
Like, she has to have significance. She has to. You know, again, like Tony Robbins, who has a significant impact on the world, but I also think he has like something like belief. I think he has strong beliefs, and then he has a significant impact on the world. So anyway, these are just like really, really, really heightened examples, right, of what significance could look like. When you know, there's someone that I work with that runs a hair salon, and I was going to show you guys her video, but I forgot to pull it up. But she did a video over the weekend, and I'm like, she so has significance, just the way she does her videos and the way she has her hair and the way she talks. and she has the tattooing, like she likes to be unique and different and seen and significant. So
You could probably put any actor or actress in that category as well, you know?
well, I thought about that, with me and my little intellect, and I'm like, but people are driven by other things. Like, some actors and actresses are actually quite introverted. They just love to get into the emotion of it. So I think there's differences around the board, because that's kind of like saying every executive has significance, and that's not true at all, right? There's lots of
Good point.
executives
And
that
some of
lead
the
with different
actors,
strengths.
some of the actors are so introverted, some of them
Yeah.
consider themselves hiding themselves inside of the character.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. So I think it's different for different people. Yeah. Okay. So when your child has significance, this is an important one, right? Because this is the one where we got to go, okay, how do we get them performing? How do we get them those opportunities? How do we get them the exposure? How do we introduce them to other successful people, performers, experts, the things that they're into? Are we clapping for them and giving them the, and what's fascinating about this is, you may not want a child like this, just like my dad could not believe that I was shy. He was like, how did I have a child that was shy? It was like everything that he did to make sure I was seen and noticed. I'm like, I didn't respond to. And he's like, I don't understand. How can I have a child that's not like me? But you guys know, who have had children, you have children that are not like you. And so you really have to understand, if my child has significance for whatever reasons, I need to accept that, and I need to feed them and give them what they need to be successful in this world. They may need to go into sales jobs or, leadership roles, or performing musical performances or competitive performances, or there's just a lot of things we could list out, but we really just have to try to figure out, and this is why we were asking about my brother's kid, because it was interesting to watch him on the zip lines, and how he was always looking to see if you were looking. And then when you were looking, he was performing. And I was like, that looks a bit like significance. And it could explain why he's bored with just basic stuff, right? Okay, if you're a leader with significance, there's so much you can bring to the table, because you are going to help your teams be significant, because you want to be significant. You're going to help them understand what high performance looks like. You're going to understand and be able to show them and teach them how to be highly influential, and to make sure that the brand is strong, the team brand is strong, that the perception is strong, so that the team is seen as a team that the company can rely on. You're going to be able to help the team members really achieve their own personal goals, which is going to be a way that you show them that you care about them. You're also going to be highly focused on making sure you have the right credentials, the right designations, the right qualifications. And you're going to do a great job of celebrating the team's work, and then making sure it's seen and making sure it's noticed, and applying for the things that get you recognition across the company. Anybody have other thoughts on this one?
Not on this one, but just going back to as a child, I apologize. Just a thought, maybe a comment, observation. As children, we all go through a look at me kind of stage. And most of us grow out of it. But those that don't grow up, could we say that that was significance in the child, and all the other children, it was something else? Or
That's a great question, because like you said, if every child goes through a stage where they just need to be noticed and seen, which I don't know if that's true or not. I would like to understand if that really is a early
and that
childhood
is a
development
total
phase,
generalization
or
that I made.
right, like, is that a stage or phase that they all go through or not? And if so, that's probably separate than strengths.
Okay. And
And,
sorry for
and I
that.
haven't worked with a lot of significant, that sounds bad, a lot of significant children. That's not what I mean, but a lot of children with significance, I haven't worked with a lot of them, so I'm not sure how it looks or how it looks different than other.
So is it feasible that significance and achiever could look a lot alike?
Yes, they do. And they're very closely paired together. So you're probably going to see people with both significance and achiever in their top 10. I mean, you're almost always going to have that combination. So you're going to be seeing achiever, but you're also going to be seeing the need. See, achievers like myself, I got #1 achiever. I don't need to be seen. It's just I literally can go achieve by myself. And all that matters to me is what I'm achieving for myself. Where a significant person is going to want those achievements to be recognized and seen.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, engage your significant colleagues. So if you're managing someone with significance, you definitely want to get them on the high pressure, high stake, visible projects. That's where they're going to perform at their best. Don't be afraid of stressing them out. They really can perform wonders. But they just need to hear that they're doing a good job and that they are making that significant impact. They need the recognition for what they're doing. Okay, you can leverage them for branding, perception, influence, all those types of things that we've been talking about today. Get them on those types of work and that type of projects. The worst thing you can do as a manager is put them on something insignificant. Okay. As a coach, lots of things I can do as a coach. I love finding out what actually makes them feel significant, where they're stimulated, where they're engaged, what types of work do they want to be seen, where do they want to be noticed. Just finding and getting all those questions answered helps me and them guide themselves into the different types of positions, the different types of interviews, the type of work that they are going to be truly at their best doing. And then once they get into those things, providing them with the resources to help them be more influential, to help them deal with confrontation, to get them connected with the right experts or professionals that will help them be successful within those opportunities, things like that. These guys also need a high amount of independence and autonomy. So you definitely don't want to micromanage. You definitely don't want to control. You just want to say, look, this is what needs to get done. If you get it done, it has a significant impact, go. If you need my support, come back. I'm here. We'll work through it. But I'm giving you the reins to go work independently. And then this is, who we were talking about earlier. This would be Connie. What does she do? She helps others see how they are significant. She improves their brand. She finds ways to help to showcase them. So she might help promote those people and their services. She's definitely setting goals and helping them achieve the goals. She's working with autonomous, professional, independent people because she's not necessarily going to handhold like a developer would. So she can't work with those types of people that have that need. She needs to work with people who don't need that and don't want that. She can bring in she can bring in expertise and other professionals and other top performers, and that's exactly what she's done. Actually, it's funny to think about it. She's brought together high performing people together to support one another. Okay. Obviously, as a coach with somebody who can see, what credentials, designations you need, she can help, push people to get those done. And then in her shoes, she will definitely need to make sure that people are giving her recommendations and promoting her, because that's how she's going to feel like she's actually making an impact or having significant work and be, motivated to continue. These are some daily tasks the significant people can take to make sure that they're doing these things every single day. I was a little skimpy on this. I went through my database. I found a few things. And I think the reason is because everybody's in such different industries and different fields in my database that it was like, I don't really have a certain area that I'm suggesting you go in, but more so just areas that are seen, that are important, that are significant. Those are going to be so individualistic. What matters to what person, and it's going to depend a lot on their other strengths as well. And then again, I went and searched out, I didn't really know any great books on this, so I would just searched out some of those high performers that maybe significant people would enjoy reading about. I did read Can't Hurt Me, which was a Navy SEAL guy. And it's such a high performing book that maybe significant people would enjoy reading that.
I would recommend Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson.
Okay, I'll add that.
I can't see how he possibly is not somebody with this strength, or was
Okay.
somebody with this strength.
Yeah, thank you. I'll add that to this list before I send it out. Okay, as usual, you can take, we've got resources in here for anyone who needs to take the assessment. You can take it in different languages. You can download the app on your phone. It's called Access if you've taken the assessment. And then this is my web app that, Chad, this is what I was talking to you about. This is my web app that I've developed to give those additional insights. So here's the instructions on how to do that, where you can add your strengths. Okay. So you guys can take a screenshot of that, or you can access this on the slides when I upload them on LinkedIn. By the way, if you haven't connected with me on LinkedIn, please feel free to do so. I'd love to be connected with all of you. There's a YouTube channel that Gallup puts out there that you can go get more information on. There's, and I have a YouTube channel too, Strengthology Insights. I think is all you have to look up, or just Strengthology, it should pull up. There's books out there that you can read. 10% of everything I do goes to Operation Underground Railroad, and that organization helps save children that have been human trafficked. And then here's my LinkedIn information, my email, my phone number, so you guys can reach out to me anytime if you have questions or just for anything that you want. So thank you for joining today. Is there any other remaining questions, thoughts, anything else you'd like to share before we close it up?
Thank you
No,
much.
this is great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining, Ben. Thank you for your feedback on the significant strength. It is so rare that it's really good to hear from someone who actually has it. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Anything else? Next week is futuristic.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Talk to you next week.
Okay.
Bye.